Yeah, what up, everybody? We are officially back and we are live. Shout out to everybody who, first of all, Happy New Year, fellas.
Yes.
And this is kind of, we decided to throw something a little we would do, and kind of came up last minute, but things always work better that way. So long story short, we had a recap last year, and I had to find my favorite shit talkers. So everybody, once again, Richie, how many times I had you on the, first of all, Richie Wisdom, Richie Crutch, Richie Straight Edge, Richie Pennsylvania, live and direct. First of all, Happy New Year, my brother. I didn't even tell you that behind the scene. I forgot to tell you that.
I know. I hit you up. You never responded. That's all right.
Oh, Pocono Richie.
Pocono, and Happy New Year, Busky. And by the way, everybody, shout out to Busky. I wasn't sure if he was going to be there. He was taking care of some business. So good. I'm glad we have a full house today to talk some shit. Long story short, I wanted to recap. There was a crazy year. Last year was a big year for heavy music. And before we even start, I want to shout out Dan and Getting It Out podcast. I wanted him. We were supposed to do this originally with him and Dan and Richie and everybody, but things got a little crazy. This one we threw together last minute, but we're going to get that going on too. Go make sure you check out Dan and the Getting Out podcast, one of my favorite podcasts. He always got you got to check this out. Richie, I don't know if you ever checked this out. He always got some left field crazy band, but he always got some bangers. I got to say, he's what I like, he's eccentric on how he does his thing. And that shit always keeps me looking. So shout out to him and everybody. Are you listening to anything, Richie, podcast-wise, anything new? Because we all know the podcast game got flooded.
As far as hardcore stuff, I listen to everything that's out there. 185 Miles South, that's a standout.
Yeah, shout out to them, for sure.
Yeah. I just listened to the Matt Henderson on This Is Hardcore podcast. I love that one.
Shout out to Joe.
Real in depth, and I love, Henderson's the hero, the guitar player hero for a guy like me. So I loved hearing that one. But yeah, all the hardcore ones I always check out.
Yeah, I always try to check them out. Busky, there's so many. I mean, there's a lot of good ones too. I'm not even talking to talk shit. There's so many. Just trying to. I get excited when I kind of run across a new, a recent one of something I didn't see. And always try to catch the inside.
Since we are talking about 2023, that was a 10-year anniversary for the Post America podcast.
Oh, shit!
10 years, baby.
Yeah, congrats.
We invented this hardcore podcast shit.
What was the first
and
one?
The thanks we get. What was before that one? Which one?
What was the first one?
Maybe there was. I think the first guy we had was Stickman, I think.
But you remember the year?
2013.
13. Yeah, I had an early one too. I remember my first guest, but not the year. But shout out to Efren. Efren was my first one. Even when on the comeback, I had to get him back. So, but it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy how the game changed since then. Just technology and how everybody now, it's available for everybody to do. Which is
what the worst thing that we did. We just didn't progress. We were just interested in just talking and all the technology stuff and possibilities that we could have been doing, little clips, video. We just didn't do it. We didn't keep up.
It was also the early stages of this type of shit. People learning how people are still finding out what works, what doesn't work, and look at when we all started. I think people were still buying records. Still, all iPhones. Still, we weren't with an iPhone everywhere. It's crazy to think that, and this,
it's fun though. I love listening to podcasts. I love seeing the new ones.
Yeah.
And I love when people put one out with a little twist, something different,
Busky, you do the podcast thing? I never even really asked you.
Yeah, no, same thing. Same, the Getting It Out is great. 185 is great. Turned Out a Punk is a good one. Damien from Fucked Up. He's always got same thing, interesting guests. It's not always focused on one genre. It bounces around a little bit. And there's a cool one called The Cypher too, which is more hip hop oriented. And they've got a lot, like you said, a lot of back episodes that I never caught, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago that Scott sends me quite a few of them. Good Sean Price one, some Vinny Paz one. So there's some cool ones out there. But also off the music one, there's a cool one that I came across recently called Locked In, maybe, with this kid that used to run oh shit, what was the name of the fucking venue in Connecticut?
I haven't even heard of that one.
He used to run one of the Connecticut venues, and he got busted and went away for did some time, and he came out, and it's basically like a prison reform, sort of a podcast, and it's kind of a cool, interesting, it's just off the music path. So all those 185 South is banging. I love that. That's always a staple for me.
What's a real good one? A new one that Toby put out with that band, End It, was really good.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Shout out to End. Yeah. Shout out to End. Yeah, that's the peeps right there. They're good. They're good. Great band. Good dudes. Good energy.
And he had like almost the whole band on at once, and it was funny. It was good, and they were loose. Yeah. Toby's got some good shit going on, man.
Yeah. He's killing it, man. Good for him. I'm glad. He has a. It's good to have some ears out on that coast over there. He could get. There's a lot of people are out there, so it's good to be able to get a good variety of people. And shit.
Definitely.
And it's good to be able when you could do the shit live. I would love to be able to do live everywhere, but people are scared to come to South Florida.
I haven't been to Florida in a long time.
Yeah, but it's a good podcast. Garza, what's it called? It's a metal podcast. His homeboy, what's his name? Yeah, I'll tell you right now. Yep, the Garza podcast. Homeboy was in one of these bands, Suicide Silence, or one of those bands. But he got a lot of. He's good. He got a cool setup and a lot of good bands, man. I've been peeping that one out. You got to peep that one out.
Garza, huh?
Garza.
Yeah, that one out. He got like
that scene is real big, so a podcast in that scene could be a big thing.
And he's killing it. It's a dope podcast, and he got what's dope. I also saw he covered, I think like a Tsunami or one of these other some hardcore bands. There's also a lot of Code Orange, there's a lot of metal bands and all that stuff. So, but it's dope. It's actually a cool one. It's a dope setup, and I'm like, man, from the podcast shit and bands, there were so many fucking new bands coming out. How crazy was this year for that shit?
Yeah, wild. I mean, demos, EPs, full lengths, you name it. There was tons.
Let me ask you this, Rich. You run, obviously, you put out a lot of your own stuff and you put out other band stuff. Did you see an upswing this year on people buying music, or kind of the same?
Yeah, a new project I did was Never Ran, Never Will Records, and everything I put out on that end did well, and it seemed better than in years past. But also the bands were dope. You know what I mean? So, But look at this. Look, I'm gonna show you right now, son.
What you got?
What? Ready, son. We put that.
Give us the latest. What's the latest? What'd you put out?
Yeah.
Risk Fools Game Split. We're bringing back the splits. Remember how cool splits were?
Yeah.
And who you
did
got?
A Mad Ball Wisdom and Change split. People forgot.
Yeah.
Hold my own split.
There you go.
Let them know, since we on that Gator, since we on that wisdom tip. Let everybody know what's going on with everything. You got that. You got the record label. You got. That's what I'm saying. You putting out splits. Yeah. What else we got there, Gator? Blast that. You have a couple of things going on.
What do you got? Okay, late January. Yeah, check that out.
When that's coming up right now.
Hoya, have you heard about this venue, Preserving Underground?
I've heard of it, but tell me about it. What's the deal with this spot?
This dude, AJ, from like lifelong hardcore dude, like die hard, like it's his religion, bought a church out in Pittsburgh. Renovated the whole church, made it a venue and record store. Actually, I think it's two separate venues, a smaller room and a bigger room, and a record store that supposedly will blow your mind.
Yeah.
And it's
like a museum, isn't it?
Yeah. Like it's like dedicated to hardcore, this place.
Yeah.
But with a great sound system, great live room. And I know he just went out to Bethlehem. I think it's in Bethlehem, PA. What was that great record store out there that the guy the guy passed away a while ago.
But I seen
people all his back stock.
So he really stocked up on the classic stuff.
No, he's got everything in here. But the dude AJ's from a band called Face Wreck also.
All right, that's a dope name. And in Pittsburgh, because I seen a lot of people. You want to know what, man? I'm almost curious if I played there, man.
I don't think you did. Maybe. I don't know.
It was a church-ish place in Pittsburgh we played, but this seemed
kind of new. But Madball did play it with that Code Orange show.
Yes,
that was recent. I don't know if you were on that one. Were you
I wasn't on that, but I heard about that.
Before that, the place probably wasn't around way back.
So we got over here
spot now. That's the
spot. So when's this show? In what, like 2 weeks?
January 27th. This one.
Boom. When's the last time you were in Pittsburgh?
I don't even know, bro. I don't like honestly. It's been a while.
You know, it's fucking cold as hell in Pittsburgh.
It's cold, but the food is good. The people are fucking half retarded out there. That's why they're so fun. They have the worst accent you ever heard.
Yeah, they like. I like how they say aluminum furl. That's what they say in Pittsburgh.
Furl, yeah.
Richie, since you're one of the kings of PA, what do you think of that part of PA? You know what I mean? Like,
well, you know what?
What is that version of PA hardcore compared to your version?
You said one of the kings. I'm the king. Okay.
Choose your words.
I never know. I never know anymore.
But check it out. Pittsburgh, and for a long time, has been heavy centric. Their bands are usually heavier than the rest of PA bands. Like they're a very proud, beat down hardcore city. That's
what else came out of there. Steel Nation, obviously, but like what else was Pittsburgh?
The biggest name is Code Orange. Code Orange is originally out there, then relocated to Philly, and then really just worked.
Okay.
But there was one of the original like just face beater bands was No Retreat. Came out of Pittsburgh. They kind of set a standard. After them, there was what's the next band? Built Upon Frustration.
Okay.
Brutal band. Like these are like just low guttural, like Hatebreed style vocals, very slow, you know, like in the vein of like they, you know, Bulldoze, but tuned down and more metallic, you know, like that was the standard for Pittsburgh. There's definitely other kind of bands out of Pittsburgh, but that's what in the state of PA, when we would think of Pittsburgh, we would expect to hear that style of band.
And Face Wreck is in that same sort of realm, right? They're pretty.
Face Wreck is like that, and then with all of a sudden, like a rappy hip hop element thrown in there. Yeah, they just did a cool show. You know, Nerds Record Shop in Japan.
Yeah, I just saw they were in Japan.
Yeah, they just did a like the Nerds Record Shop anniversary show or something like that. Out there.
Shout out to Nerds. Shout out to all those dudes in Japan.
Yeah.
And what else? What were you just saying? I'm freaking what you were just talking about, man.
What happened? This guy's forgetting he smokes too much weed.
Yeah, I didn't even get to smoke yet.
Oh, we got a new flyer.
What was in Pittsburgh? What was the name of that? I said they always had a great scene. What was the name of that club? It was upstairs. We all the bands.
Club Lager.
That was Club Lager, right upstairs.
Yeah.
Yo, that was at one point, I want to say at one point, but for a minute, like, you know, obviously back in the day, you had like the more punk when like the Willie era, that whole AF era, the what was it called? Something Banana. The Something Banana was a big club.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I caught the Electric Banana. I caught the last era of that, and then everything after that was, you know, Lager and other spots. But we had some great shows, and I remember it being a big scene at one point. Like,
and you know what? Even for like dirty punk rock, they're still, you know, it's still big for that. And that, what's that band? Anti-Flag is from Pittsburgh, I think.
Are they?
And not Anti-Flag. Yeah, I think they just had some kind of drama in their band, so I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I didn't.
Probably knows the details. Busky, what happened with Anti-Flag?
You got me.
Come on, tell us.
You got me.
and today what we got here? So we got this one Friday, January. So this is like tomorrow. When's this?
No, this is next Friday. Well, yeah. This Friday coming up.
Friday.
Yeah. Really
right now is Saturday night. So, this is your home
era, baby.
Why don't you fly up for this? This is your homie's birthday party. Come on.
I know, but the Jets in the shop, or else I would. But what we got here? The Meadows. I don't remember if I've been in that club yet.
Yo, 1 second. Yo, send a plane for Hoya to bring him up to the show. All right, just do what I fucking told you.
Yeah, Hoya,
listen, go to the airport that day. We'll send you up.
Listen, my name's in the paperwork. This guy's flying me around to his freaking private Pocono getaways.
Now check it out. I don't know anything about the Meadows. You guys know anything about that club?
I'm
Bosky,
pretty
have
sure you
been-
would have been there by now.
I thought I was, and I don't remember, but yeah, no, I know they're having a bunch of shows. I always get confused with the Monarch, and then there's another spot that's kind of been having shows. So
Yeah,
I
this
get-
is right next to that.
And
Meadows,
over-
Monarch, they're right next to each other.
Gotcha.
One room is a little bit bigger than the other one.
all right, gotcha. So what we got? We got
Hey,
so
hey,
shit. It's Paul's birthday party. What's it gonna be? 29. How old is Paulie Shit Terror gonna be?
He's gonna be 129, I think.
Yeah, right. Shout out to Shit Terror. Shout out to Paul. It's good that they're still doing their thing. It's good that they see. He seems to be having fun with that shit again. So that's good.
We played with him. I don't know, maybe like I forget, not that long ago, and they sounded fucking great though. They sounded
Yeah.
good.
The last bunch of dudes he got, I think, are like legit. Like as far as I mean,
Yeah.
everybody could play songs, but like they want to play them and they're playing it with the right energy and shit. I think. And who we got here? Top Shotter. Who's that? Who are these other bands?
I'm not too sure who Top Shotter band is, but I know Liberty and Justice is a great band from Texas.
Oh, all right. Yeah, been
Real
hearing-
cool. Yeah,
That's dope.
I'm not
That's
sure
cool.
the other ones, but
And-
this should be fun, bro. This is gonna
Yeah,
be fun.
that's cool. Paul Shit. Shout out to Shit Terror starting out the new year, and shout out to Wisdom for a band that doesn't play right now. He got mad flyers of shows. So okay, let's go. What else we got?
The people want it. We give them what they want.
Exactly, and the people want it. You understand? So give it to them, baby. What else? We
Begging
got?
us to play, so we said, "All right, we'll play a show."
What else we
Oh,
got here? Oh, hold on. Now
Wow.
we're flashing back here. Now we're doing a little flash.
Oh,
business.
now he's got to get flashy. There he
Oh,
comes.
shit. Okay,
That's
there we
the
go.
vinyl right there, baby.
You got it on vinyl, limited edition. Everybody,
Days
look.
on Days Records / my label, Never Ran, Never Will. And I think the one he's selling, that Coke bottle one, might be shot. That might be gone now. But this is just a old release that was put out. I'm not sure when it was put out, a long time ago, and it was kind of a compilation. Oh, it's probably put out in '99, I guess. But it was a compilation of that 10 years. And it was never put on vinyl though. And this guy from Days, great dude, like very efficient dude. He had this out in a couple weeks after he mentioned it. It was out. I'm like, how did
It's
you do that?
amazing, man.
Yeah.
You know what? And
So-
that's just not to interrupt, but I just want to shout out Days because we always talk about it on the pod. And Lumpy's a great dude. He's been around now for, well over
Legit.
a decade, probably even longer than that at this point. And it's just great to see that energy when somebody's, starts something new, has that fire, has that ambition, and has the motivation. And like you said, this probably came from an idea to a conversation to an agreement, and then next thing you know, you've got an ad and a physical thing within a month or two. So
Exactly. It was exactly like that.
that's pretty.
I'm not even
awesome.
sure what triggered this. I think he was buying some of my Missing Link vinyl
Okay.
for his distro, and then he mentioned Crutch, and the next thing you know, he said, "I
was
would
done.
put that
Yeah.
out." Oh, word! Ain't nobody stopping you. And then
Yeah.
boom, you out.
Good.
And shout out to Chris and Reverb. I wanted to go into that, talking about Crutch and all that. Yo, right now, you guys just finished playing. That was like a good way to end the year, and something again. Reading ain't in the most central spot for a lot of these people because we know a lot of these hardcore kids won't leave. It's same thing happened in back in the day in the city. People will not go to Williamsburg, Brooklyn, which was right on the other side of the bridge, if there was a show, unless it was at CBGB's. You know what I mean? It's sometimes these weird things. But something about Reverb that if it had to be somewhere, let it be there. And again, maybe it's because the energy's right there. The people from our world throw it. It's a legit spot. It makes you could feel legit, not like you're playing some dump or like some fake put together garage type thing, and because it's a legit spot, but the energy's right there, So I always love, besides, having a lot of old friends there, I think it's the right element for not being in what would be the ideal spot, which would be Philadelphia,
Yeah, Reading as a city is not the place people want to go and hang out. It's a very for many years it was the poorest city in America, and but Reverb is a legit club owned by a legit hardcore dude that when you have a show and you want to, you want your show to get the satisfaction and respect it deserves, not thrown together or abused by some stranger. He makes the show happen, and like you said, it's a real spot, real sound system, real drinks, real bartenders. All the people running it are hardcore dudes, so it's like you're at home when you go there. So the thing we do there is me, Chris, and Joe Hardcore that we do at the end of the year, the Holiday Jam, aka Keystone Jam. Today we attach, not today, but this past year, we attached a little tattoo element to it, and we had a bunch of tattooists set up. And the side, we set up this outdoor tent, but heated with a lounge, all nice.
Dope.
And we had a bunch of tattoo artists in there. One bad thing though is like it spreads people out too much. You know what I'm saying? It makes that extra space, so people are chilling back there. And I was like, I was thinking, like, are people actually gonna get tattooed at this thing? Yo, them tattoo artists were all day.
Wow, yeah.
What the fuck? I would never get a tattoo out, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, people seeing me like in pain. Like when I get a tattoo, I want it to be private. Like, I don't want nobody seeing that shit in case I cry or something.
And it's a good size space too, where you can make it smaller and you could still, you could save the show. You could still be in a legit spot and still have it look good. And it kind of caters to that. It's like it still looks good. It don't look, you know what I mean?
And if you're around, just check out the other shows Reverb does. I saw one of DMX's last shows at that place.
Throughout everything, throughout the 2-3 year vacation we had, and when he was starting to throw shows, I would see it. And we'd be talking.
Yeah,
he's like, I would love it because I see a metal show, see some Spanish shit. You know, it was always something. And I was like, yo, it's dope to, people want to see music, and it's dope. You have a spot where you could see it. And again, we know where the spot is. So it's cool to see that, he puts in a lot of work. And again, to get people to go to that spot, it ain't like you stumble along and fall into Reverb. You know what I mean? It's like you got to want to be there.
Yeah. Another thing to know about Reading, how long, but think of it like this, though. How long have you been going to Reading?
So my first show out of the States was probably the only place in Pennsylvania that would book Demise back in the day.
Yeah. So even back then, they were having legit shows in other venues throughout that city. Integrity's first show was in Reading, PA.
Oh wow!
I didn't know, and I know
that's that same place you used to play.
And again, it's a big Puerto Rican neighborhood. Always kind of was like that. Like it was like so weird for the element of the type of shows, but. Back in the day, the dude Jake had a spot, Unisound. It was like a skate park, youth center. But always he would book us when nobody around the nation would book Demise. He would always give us a chance. So at that time, we were kind of getting a little bit more into like, we can't be wrecking everywhere we play. And this guy's giving us a chance. So we started kind of taking it more seriously. And we got to play with Gorilla Biscuits. We did a show that was Sick of It All with Bad Trip back in the day. Position, a stick man used to come back in the day early, Throne of Corruption, Tim Bohr. I met him because we used to play together in Reading. And then fast forward, one day when we get signed, we're doing the road runner thing or whatever, whenever we're doing, they go, we have a new booking agent. His name is Tim Bohr. And I'm kind of like, the name sounds familiar. I don't put it together. And I hit him up. Hey, what's up, man? I'm Hoya. Yo, good to meet you. I'm writing all this like formal bullshit, like just saying. Formal. And he's like, yo, and he would say the word I say, yo,
yo, my friend.
Hey, yo, my friend. And he's like, yo, it's me, Tim. And I was like, yo, Tim Throne of Corruption. I had his number like on a piece of paper, and I was like,
wow,
small world. Shout out to Tim. And but in Pennsylvania always and again. The location of Pennsylvania being where, again, the Ohio's, you got these weird connections that bring different sounds. So you have like, again, same state of Pennsylvania, you move down that way, it's more metallic. You move more this way, it's poppy melodic. It was kind of, it's kind of had a weird end. It's interesting. And then when it gets more metallic, near Ohio, for some reason that area got the
the Erie bands had their own sound.
Yeah, totally.
And they would cross over and they would play like the New York State shows more often. They would take the trips to Buffalo and Syracuse more often.
Yep.
But you know what? Like Reading, people don't realize it's not too far from Baltimore.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
It's south enough that like Baltimore dudes could get there in like under an hour.
Yo, you know what? Of course I knew that because that was Tim Bora. Tim came from Baltimore. That whole crew was Baltimore dudes.
Okay.
Yeah, it was his whole crew was Baltimore.
Yeah. And I always remember hearing the show about Demise first playing Unisound because the guy thought you were just some local Puerto Rican kids coming to the show. He said, "Nah, he didn't sound."
All right, so
shit.
No, that whole a fact about Reading, it's the most populated city for Latinos per square mile.
Oh, it is. It's a brown city. That's a little thing. It's all Latin. And it's always been kind of like that. Like, you know, like it's a rough little city, kind of its own little thing, which again makes sense for hardcore, but doesn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But again, not like you said, I've been going there since I'm 16, 17 years old, and I'm 32 now. So, you do the math.
And I started going there because when I was in Mushmouth, that's where those guys lived. Like the singer lived right a couple blocks from that club.
Crazy.
So we was before that club was there, it was like a train yard and stuff like that.
And the cool thing was like we played there with Gorilla Biscuits.
Yeah. They had 6 shows at that place.
Real bands, like those real bills that went through, which were.
Yeah. I remember all those flyers, the Unisound flyers. I was like, damn, they got some great shows.
For some reason, I thought he had passed. I haven't heard from him. And then recently I heard somebody bring up his name that he's still around, Jake from Unisound. Yeah.
It's you ever hear Top of the Rock? That was a place in Reading too called Top of the Rock.
Yep, I remember that was like
the infamous like shows with like sheer terror there and like Nazi elements showing up and bananas. Because also Reading's about 40 minutes from Allentown,
which are the two most opposite cities of each other.
Yeah.
So again, the most like Puerto Rican spot, and then you got Allentown, which was
Allentown's weird. It was Nazis and black people. Because there's a lot of black dudes in Allentown. But it was like
how that is. That's where you got the most racist when you don't got a lot of different. When you got two races,
that was it.
Races.
It was like Allentown was like a prison yard.
Yeah, black and white. Yeah, that's the thing. When you have a lot like a New York, even if you have it, how really racist could you be? You're right next to people every day. You're fake racist. Like, no, you're just angry. You're finding a reason to hate because. Everywhere you ain't gonna get the best fucking egg and cheese from my man, whoever's in the deli. You ain't gonna get, you know what I mean? Get out of here, like the fuck out of here. Like you just want to be angry. I hear you. I find reasons to flip.
I bet you got good Allentown stories though.
Oh, hell yeah. So I'll give you one real quick. So Jake one time for Demise, he's like, well, guys, this is on telephone. We had a forward show. It's like, I'm not sure if you guys really would want to come to this. And we're like, why not? He goes, well, the Uprise boys, they've been leaving messages. And if anybody out there don't know the Uprise, a bunch of white power skinners that we used to fuck up every time. I could probably say that. Anyway, they used to leave messages like, yo, we're gonna get you, you dumb Mexican skins. It's pretty good. I gotta say they were pretty good. But they would leave messages and we were like, what? Oh, we're gonna be there even earlier. Oh, we used to roll up there with an arsenal. I could talk about it now because I think enough years went by. But we, believe me, the Mayberry boys didn't have a chance if they would have rolled up. They never did.
Mayberry.
They never did. But we used to get threatened all the time from them, and they were legit dudes, you know what's up. Like these guys weren't like just like that. Like they used to back in the day would roll up deep to these shows and shut shows down.
Yeah. And you know what? That's when one of the reasons I fell in love with Madball. And that era of bands and, my early stuff is in that era as well, was because I felt like the older bands that I did love also, not all of them, but a lot of them were much more tolerant of that mindset than this next generation. So when I was seeing the older bands, I would look around and be like, oh, nobody's saying something about that guy over there or that guy over there.
Yeah,
and then when I would see the other set of bands, they weren't having it, and that's I'm with this.
I could almost to the day know when it changed, and I want to see that I saw that happen. But one of the first that I personally saw, because I knew I was a younger kid, and you would hear about the older bonehead dudes that were connected to bands that we loved, and they were like, "Yo, this hard dude, he was from this guy, but he's a bonehead." Blah blah blah. We would hear, we knew who they all were.
Yeah.
But they were always connected to people that we respected. So, and back then it was a rebel culture. You kind of like, you knew who the bad guys were. You didn't mix with them. You know who the weirdos were. You mixed with who you wanted to mix with. But we all ended up there. But we were outside CBGB's. I don't remember playing, but I was there with a lot of my older friends. My boy Jer, the old drummer Richie, Demise, Beto might have even been there. My boy Face, Dirty Dom. And there was this dude who used to hang out called Brian Flagg, who was one of the last of these fucking bonehead dudes that people used to let around. And I remember him being out there with Pack CB. We're all outside. Now we're no longer 14. We're no longer 15. Now we're like 16. 17. Now we got a little bit more hair in our balls. The testosterone's came. And one day we're like, this guy standing out there with his chest popped up. And I think he might have a screwdriver shirt or some bullshit pin. And we're like, yo, you know what? What's up with that shit? We're going to let that shit ride. And I don't remember who said it. Or basically everybody looked at each other. And I remember the next thing I know, homeboys running down Avenue 8 were just getting rained on with bottles.
Yeah.
You never saw another swastika, another screwdriver shirt. I could say that. And any of these OG, whoever could tell me different, you know where to find me. Smoking Word Podcast. Ever since then, there was no longer even saying you could be cool with that shit. That shit was a wrap. You know, which I'm glad. I remember being like, you know what? We all got like, you know what? Fuck that. Like, yo, you know what? Now they can't. Nah, I can't.
Take that. That's a good thing. Take that, you know?
Yeah. You know, but again, that's why also, you know, again, it had to be done, you know, and I'm kind of glad, again, that was us, you know, again, believing what we stood up, you know, we stepped up on what we believed in. We were like, okay, we can't have this shit. Now we're old enough to do something about it. You know,
yeah, that's the why I'm proud to be from that era or whatever, you know, they say the first generation hardcore. I don't know what generation that would be, but I'm proud to be from that era. I was listening to one of Toby's podcasts. He was talking to Elgin James, and he was telling the story from Airport Music Hall in Allentown and how he couldn't believe the number of white power Nazis were in there. And something popped off. But by the end, he said, but you know what? Props because to these PA dudes, because eventually we go back there and we would never see them again. And we heard about the wars and the stuff. And it was just a certain era was like following the leads of, let's be honest, the New York hardcore bands that said enough is enough. Okay, enough with that over here too. Enough's enough. The kids in Ohio said enough. Boom, over here. And it's now, things could have been a lot different in hardcore. That's why when people talk gatekeeper, you're lucky there were some gatekeepers.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what it is? Because I think more the hip hop element came into it. So now you couldn't avoid a little bit more sneakers, maybe a little bit more ethnic kid coming because it's a younger generation now. You know what I mean? Now you're offending one of our friends or my cousin who doesn't care about, you know, the politics or whatever. Now, you know, it became that shit, which it was like, I remember being like, we can't have this. You know, like we all understood the outlaw shit, but we're like, okay, you could take that shit somewhere else. You know what I mean? Because, you know, we're all here because we angry, but we ain't supposed to hate each other. That was the thing. You know, that made no sense. It was like, no, we all ended up here because people hate us. You know, I was a bald weirdo. You were a weirdo, the Mohawk. You were a weirdo who didn't do that. We're all weirdos. That's why we all ended up there. If we weren't, if we were like everywhere else, we wouldn't be there. Every fucking whatever dumb show, whatever fucking little hole in the wall we could show up to. Yeah.
Now, do you think that term gatekeeper is that now it's a villain term, right? Busky, you hear people say, gatekeeper, fuck these gatekeepers to get, and I see zero evidence of any gatekeeping in hardcore at all.
It's kind of hard to gatekeep when everything's on the internet, on Spotify.
Show me a band that or a person that isn't allowed to go and enjoy a show or play a show or book a show.
Listen, how could you gatekeep when the new kids are killing all the older bands?
Exactly. I know that's the thing. It's
number wise. That's just somebody they want to say that. If you're saying that to have a reason to say
pretend war.
Absolutely. That's just puffing out because this is the biggest this music has ever been ever. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, and it's like
and the most open. You know,
absolutely.
But I'm saying it's because of early gatekeepers like Hoya J. Rock, son.
That's
a real gatekeeping right there.
I'll take some of the credit where at least maybe I wasn't, you know, fully open as much as the open kids are today, but I was more open to know, like, okay, there's more wiggle room out here, and you motherfuckers are stuffing it. Nah, we, you know, I like some different stuff. Why we ain't gonna let this in? So I remember being hated on. Madball was hated on very early. Madball was talk shit on very early. They were saying we were too hip hop, even though we were, because we were from the city. We were Latin and we wore sneakers and okay. And fucking, what are you? I could call you a lot of shit too. It was like, but people talked a lot on us. Too much graffiti, too much hip hop, too much rapping. I'm like, what rapping? Nobody's fucking rapping. He got flavor. Get the fuck out of here. We were never a rap core band. We had graffiti, the vibe. Oh, we used to get that. I remember when Hold It Down came out. That record, a specific OG came up to me and was like,
who?
I won't say names, but from an OG band that we all love. He told me,
oh man,
he goes, yo, when you guys got to chill out with all that hip hop and that rap and graffiti shit you got. And they were like, and I go, what's the name of the next record? I go, well, yeah, my next record I'm dropping is called Hold It Down. Yo, Hold It Down. Who's gonna even get that? This is what he told me.
Where is he now?
Exactly. I'm a fucker. Yeah, exactly. This is my point. But like we were getting, it's like
who that is so bad. Put the mute on quick. Let me just people
like that. So I get it, and that's why I made sure for our generation, I took it upon myself that I'm gonna be a gap bridger. To a lot of these, because I always loved one, that was us at one point, and number two, my thing was I always loved knowing that I knew the new shit coming out. I always loved being the tap. Like, I know what's up. I used to love putting my boys on, check this band out. Oh, I got it. I want to be the
better
guy.
than showing somebody something cool and then hoping that they like it though, right?
I love that. And with the show, that's what we were able to do. And that's, you got it. I became a fan again.
But also think about it. Think about like when you were starting your very first band and an elder got your tape or your demo or whatever, and they're like, this shit is good. You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't you want to carry that on? Why wouldn't you want to be the old head now, turning, older or younger people onto this new shit,
I'll tell you one word, the reason why I'm like that. 2 words, Vinny, stigma. When I was 15 years old, like saying, oh my God, Stigma would come in and drink out of our 40 and smoke with us and be like, yo, so what's up? Yo, you guys come in. And I was like, are you kidding me? Stigma is smoking like all these guys from all these bands over there, but he's coming with us.
Yeah.
You had a good teacher.
Oh, forget it. Roger, who's the biggest ass on the world, who I love the most. I'll tell you how real that motherfucker is. When I was a little kid, we were selling Demise demos. I would walk up and down the line and I would say, yo, 5 songs, 5 demos, the hardest shit out. That was my sales pitch. And I remember I go up to Roger and it was me and my drummer, Richie. Shout out to Richie. And I'm like, and Roger goes, oh shit. I didn't know Roger. He's like, yo, you got a demo? Let me check that out. I said $5 before anything. And Richie's like, yo, I'm like, fuck that. I was up all night recording this shit. Roger, I want that shit. He bought it. And then later on when I met him, one of the first times I met him in the house, he goes, yo, check it out. I still got your tape. I used to work out to it. And he had the tape there. And like he would remember, like those guys, like him and Stigma, like they remember that shit.
Yeah, that's fucking great.
Stigma, you give him a shirt, you hang out with him, you give him a shirt. He goes to your city, he's gonna pull out your shirt.
Yeah.
I don't know how he does it. And he does it for certain people. I'm like, who is this? And the kid will roll up. Yo, I gave you that shirt 5 years ago. And Stigma would remember the city or whatever and rock the fucking shirt.
Real deal. Yeah.
Oh my God, forget
it. That's a good tribal leader.
Oh my God, the best. And he's right out there. He's still out there right now.
And if you have a bad leader, imagine the things that could happen.
Oh, forget about it.
You lucky.
Everybody loves Stigma. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't care if you believe in the devil, if you believe in a head of lettuce, whatever world, skinhead, punk rock. There's all types of it.
All this Stigma Pennsylvania talk. I got a good one. Stigma. He was hanging out with Blacklisted once. And they're like, oh, we're Blacklisted. We're from Pennsylvania. He's like, where? And they're like, Philly. He's like, Philly, I love the Steelers. This guy's got the fucking Steelers tattoo on his neck, head to toe in Steelers, uniform. And he was. I got handed to him. He was a little tipsy that night, but
he's like, of course he was.
Classic Stigma.
That was one thing that bothered me about Stigma, though, that he was a Steeler fan.
No, but you got to remember this. Do you remember that era he comes
I
from?
know they were devastating when he was a kid. I guess.
No, it's like, but everybody
Franco
was,
Harris.
Yeah.
yo, with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Remember back in the day? Why?
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. You know, there were certain teams that you were like, yo. And I get it. Pittsburgh was like an American team,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like the
And I
working-
don't dislike Pittsburgh for an AFC team. I like him, but I will give him props because one time we were at a bar and the Giants were playing Pittsburgh, and I said, "Oh, look at you! You're gonna hate on your own city." He's like, "Nah, this is a civil war. I won't even watch it." What is that?
yeah.
But he gave the Giants a little prop, so I like that.
Yeah, I got forget about it.
He's a
Yeah.
humble man.
You not only is the best, I'll give you even a better one since we're on Stigma. I don't care. Yeah, let me tell you, you know, this is why I love Stigma. When I went to get my son was baptized where Stigma was baptized. I'm proud of that. And I'm more proud of that than also, by the way, that was the same place where in The Godfather when the baby gets baptized.
No way.
Yes, that's
Wow,
what my
really?
that's my tree, and that's where my son got. And the reason I got that hookup was through Stigma.
Yeah.
Now, I you know, my wife was very sick at the time, so time was limited, and we wanted to get baptized or whatever. And I never finished through with my Catholic duties as a kid. I had to finish. I had to do my communion to be able to, you know, to get married and whatever. So long story short, I would have to do classes, right? But it was going to take too long because I would have to do a couple steps to get to where I had to go. Long story short, to do it right, to try to do right and thing, Stigma was Hoya Rock and did my classes for me. And
No
he sat,
way.
yes. So the reason, like, I got goose pimples now. He was he
Beautiful
sat
thing.
in for me for my fucking my religious class so I could get my son baptized in that
Wow.
church. So
Beautiful thing. Beautiful.
right
thing.
on my street. Yes, I said Stigma's a fucking that's the one and only right there.
Yes.
That's a legend. You know,
Yeah.
that word gets thrown around, man, but that dude is a
He's
legend.
a fucking legend, dude. And he's out
Yeah.
there like, setting the bar.
in such
Yeah.
good shape, physically such.
Oh, yeah, he-
Yup.
I was just with him in Florida. First of all, the AF killed Florida. They sound great. They sounded great, dude. Like really good energy wise. Stick with, man. That shit gives me like, yo, I see that. I'm like, oh, I want to write a song. I'm like, oh, we got mad time still.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yo,
Yeah.
house, they killed it. They sounded great. They were going at it. They were going off, dude. I was like, yo, there's no excuse.
It's almost how's it even possible? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's
but,
insane.
we are seeing it. We're seeing it, but I still question it.
But you know why? I seen this somewhere recently. When we were kids, people our age, if you were 50 when we were kids, you look like you were 75.
Yeah, man. It's wild, right?
I'm a fucking look like, I'd be like, yo, what? You know, like, you know, dudes were like 30 and they looked 50 when we were.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I think the longer you spend in this music,
Yeah.
I think there's some kind of medicinal
Spirit of
value.
youth. Yeah, dude. It's the spirit of youth. It really is. I think it's the energy, you know, and I was never one of these guys. This is just some new shit that I've come across from being a parent and just having, I don't know, but energy. I think that's a real fucking thing, you know, in our lives. And I think that we
see
carry.
people I graduated with. and I'm
Yes.
sometimes like, fuck, do I look
Yes.
like that? Do I appear
We
like
carry
that?
a different
to other
energy. We
people?
carry a youthfulness because of this stupid thing of bouncing around each other in a room and jumping up on a stage or whatever.
And
There's
the
definitely a
fact
youthfulness.
is, but the fact is that whole look at we could go into that, but the fact is that other shit was we thought, oh, by 30 we have to wear button-up shirts.
Yeah.
By 35 we had to have a house and a mortgage. We
Yep.
thought because that's what they said we had to do. No,
Yep.
those motherfuckers decided to die early.
They aged out.
It was the other people that did it. You saw, wait a minute, no, there's more room for this. No, you learned who said that you can be 50, or even 60 and be in the best shape of your life. There people are proving that right now.
Yeah.
They coming out, pulling out some new shit when they're 60s, and they're like, yo,
Yeah.
okay, when we thought it was done after 45, it was a wrap back in the day.
Totally, man.
You know, it's crazy. It's like, but this music shit, for sure. You keep
Something
around.
about it.
Yeah.
You know, you
But
keep around it. Music is good for you. That shit is medicine,
Yeah.
you know. And also our music scene is connected to a lot of youthful energy. And I think
Yeah.
that energy is that stronger. It's so fresh and pure that there's no way you ain't gonna get some of that shit.
Yeah.
You know, one thing is also travel. Like people in our scene and their willingness to travel, even in older ages, it's pretty impressive. Like, because I would think, like, man, my dad, would he have traveled when he was like 55 and did something like that? No. He ain't going nowhere.
Just pouncing, doing shit. Exactly, a rap. Like, this shit, you still be like thinking, like, yeah, let's do. Yeah, it's different. But then it's again, they thought they lived in that box. Our parents lived in the box that was set, and you know,
broke down the walls.
Everybody who broke down the walls in that era, they thought was crazy or was this, and then you see now, like, they're eccentric, they're artists. Like, no, motherfuckers just don't do what you do.
Yep.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, it's like, and we all know some of the suit and tie people are the biggest weirdos. So it's like
totally creeps.
You got dudes like Stigma who was there from the beginning, and then now is the era of all these new people. There's so many new people right now that have a sound that's almost more classic than the sound Stigma's doing now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Scout, that's one of the new bands that I stood out to me early, and I loved. I was like, man, they got that good energy. We covered them early, and shout out to them for jumping on the podcast and all that. But they're doing a style that's more traditional than what AF does now.
Yeah,
it's crazy, but it's dope. Like, you look at this is how the whole thing switched around. You hear those bands like Gulch, you ever heard them? Same thing like that.
It could be like an 80s band.
Yeah, big time.
Now check it out. How many years from let's say 1985? Well, let's say 1984 to make it easy. 1984 to 2024. How many years is that?
Oh, I got my GED. Busky, hit it.
Busky,
80. That's 40 years, right?
Okay, so let's say Hoya, when did Madball start?
They started in 88. I joined in 93.
Okay, let's say 93. What's 40 years before 93? What did music sound like? Oh, you didn't sound anything like music 40 years before at any level. But now there is new bands that sound exactly.
Oh my God, that's a great point. Yeah, wow.
It's mind blowing, and I'm not saying that's a good thing, because that shows it's a testament to how pure that music is. That even a young person, like when I was a kid, my dad was a doo-wop guy, and I thought it was cool, but I had no desire to start a group and sound like the doo-wops. You know what I'm saying? It didn't hit me like that. But kids are hearing music that's 40 and 50 years old and being like, "Yo, I want to sound like that."
It is because I think when you hear the original, like why punk rock, the original reason why punk, a little kid rock, why it was simple, is something that normal,
obtainable,
that we all available, that we all feel. Doo-wop was people wanting to make primitives, the sounds that we want to get out, but there was having guitars wasn't accessible. People were hanging outside. You used your voice. Now the electric guitar comes into play.
Yeah.
Now you got that. Now you got that one. Okay, let's do that. Now I could see that. Like, that's where it starts. You know what I mean?
That electric guitar is key, man. When you plug in that and you play a power chord, you're like, oh yeah. And I just keep my hand like this and go da 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 da. And you're like,
everything rock is because of that electric guitar.
Power chord.
It's insane.
And then came the distortion pedal, and then you throw that distortion pedal on, and then you learn how to palm mute. And then you learn how to tremolo pick, back and forth, up and down, and then you've got speed, and then it's a game changer,
Yeah.
And then you switch to bass, Richie, and then it becomes a whole nother animal.
And then you got also again, older styles, traditional styles popping off again. Right now, the Chisel, they're bad. I fuck with them. Shout out to the Chisel, again on that punk, the oi shit, the punk, doing it real traditional, and they come off. And what I love, the same type of DNA and essence that Oi had connected to the hardcore scene when I was coming up. It was very common to see at a show, you would see a straight edge band, maybe an Oi band, across, it was mixed. It was always part of the gumbo, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And somehow throughout the years it got separated. The whole oi scene, you know, if you liked it or not, there was always a part of it. You know, even what you think Pride was. Certain songs back in the day, every hardcore band was like, "This is our metal song. This is our oi song." You remember back in the day, everybody, you know, that was kind of a thing. Well, why? It was kind of like, "Oh, this is I want to tip our head to this branch of our DNA." Kind of. So we all did it, and then it got separated, and then coming back, and I like how they do it because to me, it's this. I'm an oi guy, and they do it right, and I think they do it with the right attitude where like, yo, you know, we're saluting the OGs.
Yeah.
But if you have a problem with it, man, I guess you just gonna have to have a problem with it when to do what we do. And I love that. You know what I mean?
And there's a batch of new oi that's almost plays exclusively with hardcore bands.
Yeah.
You know? And that's cool. But they're doing it right. They're making it just appealing enough that they fit on these bills, and the Chisel is definitely one of them. Or they would say the Chisel.
Yeah, shout out to them, man. Definitely, man. No, but cool band, and I'm glad at a time where, again, I thought we weren't gonna leave the real metallic, like knock loose style for another while. And then a lot of the Scows started popping up, the Gulches, the Chisels, where I was like, okay, all right, yo, that's still
too, like we mentioned earlier.
And all of them.
Yeah.
But all those, so I was like, and speaking of Reading, I want to shout out, and also I want to shout out my first band, Demise. They're dropping an EP, Gator Food. You have that image talking about freaking Reading, but I'm not on this EP, but all the other original guys on Cheeky, on Beto, and Johnny Boy on drums. My brother Stephen Huey, he drew the first Demise shirt. He drew a bunch of the Sick of It All shirts, the Murphy's Law, Madball shirts. Steve Huey, go get tattooed by him. Fly Right Tattoos, but he drew this. He kind of revamped our original demo cover and did some new twist to it. But it's good to see them back. You know what I mean? It's I actually had some video, but I couldn't get it ready. I'm gonna try to air it on the next one of them in the studio. They tracked a bunch of new stuff that should be coming out very soon. I don't know the exact date, but
So Hoy, when did you join that band?
Well, we started the band together, me and Ben. Well, the thing was, one day we were sitting in front of my step door, and we were listening to a radio station, some hardcore show, WNYU, and they were playing. There was some garbage on. It was just some bullshit. And my big mouth, I was like, yo, that shit sucks. I was like, yo, anybody could get on the radio. We could do a band right now and get on the radio. And then my boy goes, all right, then let's do it. Beto was there and Jer was there. And I go, all right, then let's do a band. All right, what we're going to call it? And then Jer was like, Demise. I go, what does that mean? I don't even know what it means. He goes, but we do it with a Z. Because it means to end. And I was like, all right. What you gonna play? I got bass, I guess. My brother wanted to play bass. So I said, I guess I play bass.
So check this out. Is what I'm seeing is this art. This is going to be new music.
This is new music.
Oh shit!
Yes.
Okay, I thought you were saying they're putting out something old and then you're not on it.
All new.
So what they did was they redid. I want to say 3, maybe. I forgot. A couple of the last demo. I want to say The Dawn, a couple other songs, Calm Before the Storm, maybe 2 or 3 songs. They re-recorded them and they dropping it. And Generation Records has something to do with it too. So shout out to them. But yeah, no, they re-record, which I'm glad. Because I put out that the demo a while ago because I wanted to put something out, and I was like, people actually would want this. So I put out a while ago some vinyls, limited edition. Them coming back and wanting to do songs, I'm glad that they were like, nah, we want to get in there, re-record and do that. I was like, you know how that is. Right now things are very on the borderline with people milking stuff and not doing it for the right reasons, doing music for the right reasons. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that definitely a lot of energy from the past is popped up recently for Demise. A lot of people looking at the old stuff, so it's good. But I know they want to play. You know what I mean? Like they legit would want to play. They hit me up all the time. They want to get in the studio, and do all that kind of stuff.
So you didn't want to do the new stuff? You didn't want to do it, or just? Well,
no. Right now, I'm a little bit busy. I got a lot of things on.
A.T.
So, on the tip for everybody out there, if you haven't heard, make sure you go stream my single, brand new. It's on Casa de Rock Records. Smoke AD's the band. Smoke AD's the single. Casa de Rock is the label.
There it is.
Go support. Go get that right now. Casa de
I need
Rock
that hat,
Records.com. Look at right here. I got boom live and direct hot off the press.
Yeah.
Oh, with the white back. I like that.
Yeah, I gotta get you this, Richie. You need.
I can't wear that though. Come on, it's drug music.
Oh, that,
Poor guy.
oh, boom.
Nah, I wear it. They know. Certain
No, shout out to
elements are
everybody.
allowed. I'm allowed.
Listen, shout out to everybody who streamed the video for real. Shout out to everybody who helped launch it the right way. You know, man, we had a good, good out the box with the single. You know what I mean? Like we got 11 some thousand views on the video right now. It just came out a couple of weeks ago. So, shout out to everybody.
Who recorded it?
Zeus. We recorded with Zeus.
Wow, sounds great.
Yeah, he killed it, man. He really did, man. If you everybody out there, if you haven't heard it, it's streaming everywhere. The video's up, but we worked hard on it. We busted our ass on it, and I got a lot of stuff this year. I'm dropping an EP. I'm dropping a new show. I'm dropping a new True Union music. I got a lot of stuff going right now. I got a label, Casa de Rock Records. That's what I'm dropping. The Smoke AD is out on. And very soon the EP will be coming out, and we're following up with a lot of stuff. I'm trying to create a vibe with the music. Like, we want a spot where we can have merch, where we can have art, whatever people are into. It's the music is the soundtrack for everything that we do. You know what I mean? For the hangout. You know what I mean? The reason why we want to hang out, if you want to go have drinks, you want to go, talk, you want to go buy merch, you want to see art, everything is under that umbrella. So shout out to everybody who made it happen and supported the movement. But stay tuned for that. That's Smoke AD.
More from Smoke AD.
You already know the deal with that. And I want to also say, one of the biggest comebacks I wanted to talk about, one of the shows that I got to see. Did you catch any of the Pantera, any of those shows that came around? Any of you guys?
I didn't catch it live, but I saw a lot of video clips.
Yeah, a lot of clips.
Yeah, it was like, just really bugged out because I was just not that I was a super Pantera fan, but I remember so much talk before this tour about people having a say on should they do the tour or not because the original members and all that kind of
Seems
stuff.
like nobody gives a shit. I mean, they're out there fucking crushing it still.
Yeah,
so
that's a wrap for that.
It's the usual fucking chatter. People love to talk their shit, and then once wheels get hit on the pavement, everyone shuts the fuck up.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Now, would the family of the two deceased, did they have any issues with it or no?
You know what? I don't know. I thought at first maybe
if they don't, then like who?
Yeah, no, they signed off on it.
Who cares? They signed off on it.
Yeah, they definitely signed off on it.
I know it sounded big, like
it sounded really good. I was questioning the choice on drums, to be honest.
Listen,
but he sounded good from what I saw.
He sounds good, yeah.
Listen, I always have my critique with drummers or whatever, but overall they killed it. I went there with a pad, waiting to talk shit on everything. You know what I mean? Like, and I gotta say that I saw them a couple of times, and the other times weren't as good as the first time. But that first time they murked it. Like they really were like, "Wow, there's some rock shit." Like
you know what? Vocal wise, the dude is like a real singer.
Yeah,
and if he could still pull that off, because I know he's been playing in a ton of other bands, but not that vocal style.
Him at his best is the best. He kills everybody. Because he could sing and sound hard, and he had style in his vocals, the way he sang. You weren't touching him. At his best, nobody was touching him.
Remember that note on Cemetery Gates he hits?
Yeah.
When he's matching a whammy bar at the end.
Yeah.
I got to see during that tour with Wrathchild America.
Oh,
I saw
wow,
that tour.
really?
I saw that at the Airport Music Hall.
Yeah, I see that
shit.
Wow.
Marquee, yeah. That was right before they blew up.
Yeah, Wrathchild America. That used to be, before that, they were a different name.
Yeah, but you know how I remember? So Cemetery Gates was the big song on the box. So I was like, yo, this shit got a groove, but it's kind of corny, but it's kind of hard. And then it was perfect. The next album, they finally got the recipe. You know what I mean? Yeah, like, okay, let's turn up. And then when they dropped that shit afterwards, I was like, fuck, oh my God, game. They changed the game.
Yeah, no, they changed it. And you remember, I don't know if you remember, Wrathchild America had a cover they did of Pink Floyd Time. I think.
Yeah, I remember some weird ska shit. Any live smoke AD. We're planning to do a couple of exclusive shows out there. You know, if the people yell loud enough, we go there. But we're doing a lot of videos, a lot of stuff online, and we're gonna be doing some exclusive stuff, but we will be playing out. So keep a look on the EP's coming out this spring. I'll tell you that much.
There you
See
go.
that.
Now, when you play live, it's gonna be like just smoked out, like
You don't know. It might
like
be in
bubbles
the
everywhere.
You have to come. You might, get everybody's.
I'll wear a gas mask, but I'll come. I'll be just
Again, that is more. It's a celebration of life. The band.
Yeah, I'll be like the guy in the Carnivore album with the mask on, but I'll be chilling, having a good time.
And it was like, we got the merch. I want to make sure, and I also want to shout out Blackout Records. Shout out to Blackout Records.
Big
they just dropped, first of all, they connect the dots, keeping the eye, in tune with what's going on, and always did. Not only Bill being an old friend, that was always one of my favorite labels, but probably some of my favorite bands. OGs still in the game, and also we collabed the last couple of months because they dropped a whole bunch of these vinyls, which are dope. Which I still have a bunch here that I will be giving away, but we got a whole bunch of exclusive vinyls. Blackout killed it. They did a reissue on a whole bunch of stuff. Shout out to Bill. Shout out to the whole Blackout staff. Gator Food, you got that show. To everybody, go to blackoutrecords.com. And now's the time to collect your vinyl.
Go to blackoutrecords.com right now and go check out those exclusive holiday specials. A whole bunch of colored vinyl available. Go get that right now. Blackout Records, Smoking Word TV. It's all about the holidays. Represent.
Yeah.
They look good.
Yeah, no, they got a whole bunch of stuff. In the next episode of the next Hard Corner we're gonna be doing some giveaways. Busky, we got a bunch of stuff we could be giving away. They killed it with the layouts though. Like having
great
again was cool. Like to just go through them, opening the box, and I was even shit. It was cool.
Yeah. Shout out to Killing Time. I just saw that record in there in that Blackout mix. I saw them over the weekend upstate in Syracuse. They played the New Year's show with Crown of Thorns.
Yep.
And man, they sounded really, really fucking good. First time I've seen them, I think, without Richie McLaughlin, rest in peace. So I just wanted to shout them out because even though they're a man down without Richie, they still sound fucking incredible.
Yeah, and I'm glad they're playing again. It's good to see them. And they're doing, obviously they're doing it because they want to be out there playing. They love it. And it's good to see that. You see, like, you can't hide it. If you were really about it, how could you just not be about it no more? It's like one day you wake up and you're like, oh, I don't like the thing that I would have died for fucking, a couple of months ago. Yeah.
Yo, Busky, how was Despair on that show?
Despair was great. I actually to sort of go back on your point about jumping in a car and taking a drive at 50 years old. We went to go to the Buffalo show even the day before that one. So I went and saw them in Buffalo. They were great. And I think actually they might have been a little bit better in Syracuse. It was the second show. It was a floor show.
Second show, right?
And it was a floor show. So it was a little bit, more that sort of era style. And they sounded great. And Joe Garlip, shout out to Garlip. He took time off from The Who to fucking bust out his fancy little fuzzy amp from the 90s. And dude, they sounded like legit 90s Despair.
So. TV. We got the matching glasses. You already know.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah,
but that was good. What I thought was cool about the Syracuse is that New Year's show you do. What's up, Mary? Yeah, Richie, what's up with your backdrop? Mary's saying that is his backdrop. We specifically picked that green screen that looks like a basement where he rehearses.
Well, how you point to all that?
Look at that, you know what I mean?
Backdrop. This is it. This is the spot. I got cool shit around, but you can't see nothing. But
it's dope. I again, my dream is to have a rehearsal spot like that. Right now, my studio's getting built little by little, baby stepping and freaking. What's the deal? And let me ask you this: you real quick, you tapped in earlier. You just came back from Europe. You did the sound of Revolution, but which looked great.
Revolution. It's actually changed the name to Revolution Calling.
Revolution Calling, excuse-moi. but give us the quick version, because I know it's pretty crazy what you had to do to make that trip happen.
Yeah.
Start from, all right, the first flight, you had to take a flight to what.
Yeah, we just did a one-off show, and when the guy gave us the offer, a great dude, our friend, we said we didn't play Europe in a long time, since before the pandemic, and we said, yeah, let's do this. And I told the guys, like, yeah, we'll do it, but we got to be in and out. So I told the guy, yeah, we'll do it. We got to be in and out. So he definitely purchased us tickets to get us in and out, but we regretted it. We woke the crack of dawn. We flew out of Philly. We landed in Dublin for a layover. From Dublin to Amsterdam. From Amsterdam, about 2-hour ride to the venue. Then we were at the venue and we played that same day. When we were done playing, we hung out for a little while. Then we were driven back to Amsterdam airport and a hotel right outside of it, and had a boarding time of like 5 a.m.
Oh man.
And then flew back to Dublin, little layover, flew back to Philly, then drove home, and then they lost my fucking luggage. They lost my luggage on the way there. I know. I still didn't get it back.
Oh.
Check this out. I just bought the Gary Holt not the distortion pedal, but like whatever you call it. I never use these kind of pedals. And I saw an ad for it. I'm like, yo, that sounds sick. And I bought it. I had 4 days to mess with it. It was going to be my first show. I was so psyched on using it. I had Chris Mav, the other guitar player in Wisdom, guitar nerd, come over. He couldn't believe how good this thing sound. He was setting it for me. Boom, boom. You could do this. You could do that. You could do this. And I didn't get it back. And he made 300 of them, and they're all sold out.
Man.
I'm hoping I get that thing back.
Hey, we might know someone who knows someone over there.
That's why I bought it. I actually saw that guy put the thing up. Otherwise, I would never came across it. He put an ad up for him. Like, oh, man. Should I get that? Yeah, let me get that.
Yo, man, that seems to be a more regular thing since flights started again. A lot more lost luggage.
And it's just dicks. Everybody's a dick. You know what? I was telling the guys, I was like, because we flew to Portland a couple weeks before that for like an Oi Fest kind of thing we played, and that was dope. But I'm like, yo, it's New York, Newark, Philly. These airports they're all such rude dicks, cocksuckers.
Yeah, they are.
And then we land in Dublin. We walk out and there's a guy playing a grand piano, and everybody's talking real quiet. We landed in Amsterdam, and hope your flight was on. And we get back in Philly, and they got some poor fucking kid climbing down the thing that spits out the luggage, trying to unclog stuff. The bathroom got shit on the walls. People are hollering and screaming. Cop outside, move your fucking car, move your.
It's
what
unreal.
The fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
Where the fuck? We invented airports and we got the worst ones.
I know. It's brutal.
The show was dope, though. The show was incredible. Revolution Calling sold out, 5,000 people. Terror killed it.
We killed
it.
Yeah, we did one of the early versions of it, Call a Revolution, a bunch of years ago. It was great because I used to live in Eindhoven. That was my town. Shout out to Eindhoven.
That's what venue is?
Yeah, in Eindhoven. That's what we did in the Philips factory. That's where it was. Yep.
They said it was an old Philips factory, and now it's like
I used to live across the street.
Oh shit!
No way! Wow,
literally across the street. And you know what was the name of the street? I forgot the number of all the apartment. It was something like 1312 Hasenstrasse.
No way! I was gonna say that as a joke, but
I was gonna say Hoya Boulevard, but I didn't know.
Wow.
I was like, oh shit, Hazen Street, yo, crazy.
Wow, that's
no
crazy.
way.
And also, we mentioned before, and I want to say definitely, yo, rest in peace to Mikey Gibbons, man. Like, man, this year, I don't want to even know how many people, but we lost a lot of people this year. But man, just recently with Mikey Gibbons, I know. Shout out to Leeway, shout out to his fam, and because again, man, a super big influence on my writing style, on just my influence, and one of the bands that got me. That was like, I always loved metal. And then I got into hardcore, and then they allowed me to be able to like metal again. You know what I mean? Hearing that, being able like, yo, we could come out with 2 guitars. We could do solos. We could do all that and still rep this shit. You know what I mean? Doug Mack, what up? You know what's up. And, but yeah, Leeway. And I was glad that last show we played in Philly with them. They were great then, and it was one of the variations of them. But I remember they had a great show that day. And shout out to Eddie out there. Eddie doing his thing. He's fucking That motherfucker's right now. He's in the mix, and shout out to him. That motherfucker, that's a fighter right there. You know what I mean? He's hopefully, right now he's chilling somewhere, and hopefully we can see him do some more things. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Shout out to the whole Leeway squad. What's the deal with Wisdom now?
Well, we got some shows lined up for this year, and like the
label
flyers you saw. We'll try to record something, but these guys are pain in the asses. You know what I mean? It's like, listen, some shit didn't go the right way for us, right? And one member was being a big pain in the ass. And in retaliation, now other members are acting like, oh, forget it then, because blah, blah, blah. So it's just goofy shit. You know what I mean?
Midlife hardcore crisis.
Yeah, it's just like, it's like, I get it. Nobody's right or nobody's wrong, but there's multiple things to get out of the band. If you're in a band, nobody's going to be 100% satisfied on this level. Some guys just want to play live. That's all they want to do. Some guys just want to write music and go in the studio. Yeah. Some guys want, whatever. But I told this band, listen, we're lucky enough to be at a level for whatever reason, because we never really worked very hard. We always put out music when we're supposed to. Other than that, we were half-assed on every level. But I'm like, you're in a band where you could get things out of it. The guys that want to play, you can still play, and you're getting nice offers. The guys that want to write stuff, we can still write stuff, but you all got to get over being babies and petty and just cooperate, and then know that you're not going to get everything you want. You know what I'm saying? And if it's not good enough, then move on. Yeah. We'll get another guitar player, bass player, singer. The only guy that's not replaceable is me, the rhythm guitar player. Very important position.
Listen, but that's the thing now. A lot of people that have been doing it, bands, like that have been doing it for a while. Sometimes we forget how lucky we are. You know what I mean? Yeah, like 100%. To have the option to say, no, I don't want to play a show. Remember the days when you would do anything to try to get a show. People forget that.
Yeah. I haven't had a band in 3 years at this point, and it's the longest I've gone without a band since the mid 90s. Yeah. And to your point, Hoya, I never realized how spoiled and how much, as annoying as it is packing up this bass shit and bringing it here to there in the rain and the snow or whatever, when you don't have it, you're like, fuck, so.
It is nice to have something, even if like you play in the level of Wisdom, which is like random shows here and there, far in between. It's nice to know, in October we got this. So that means we have to get together, we have to practice, and then boom, and then it's going to be a good time because we all get along. We have a good time. It's just we're not full time and we're not whatever.
But to have to be able to get, everybody knows that, and to be able to get listen, you just said, we came from Portland, we went to Europe, look at what you do for doing hard time.
I didn't ask for any, we don't ask for shows, so we're
but what I'm saying is now look, you look what you're able to do. If anything, people are able to turn down offers or say, no, I don't want to write a record. No, I don't. What do you mean? Remember what we had to do. I talked about playing Reading, Pennsylvania, because that was the only place that would book us. If Jake gave us $75, 100, whatever it was, it cost us $250 to get there.
Yeah.
It didn't matter. Yeah. We were like, nah, we get to fucking play a real show with real, like, 100%. It was like,
no, we can't complain. We're in a nice position. And I'd love to write another record. I got millions of songs. I'd love to write. I'm not saying we won't. I'm quite sure we'll. Everybody in the band wants to. It's just, when are they available? Blah blah blah.
Busky,
we'll write some.
And what's up with you? Any of these? I know sometimes these offers come up. You doing these pop-up shows? Anything popped up? For some reason, I haven't heard, and you haven't said nothing. But why do I feel like there's something going to pop up in the next couple months?
I got nothing real. I mean, possibly Buried Alive in Europe.
Just a little. Europe, like, wow.
Well, here's the things. It's not my thing. So it's if the bass player can go or not. So I'm on the B team. I don't have an A team band. That's the problems. I need to be on the A team. I'm on this B team fill-ins fucking situation. So
if something comes in,
possibly something with that. MP got an offer for something also coming up, but MP's been dead for 3 years at this point, so I don't really know, man. I need to start cooking on something though.
Yeah,
sure.
We got 3 guys in this room. Let's fucking start a band.
No, well, here's the thing. There's so many options, but everyone's spread either too thin or too thick
true.
somewhere else. It's like you just got to find the right, And again, I'm out here on the island. It's like but something will happen. Something will
It's a matter
happen.
of pulling the trigger. That's all it is. You know what I mean? It's like when you like planning to have a kid, that you can't plan a band, you can't plan a kid.
That's
You
it.
you think, oh, when they do this, nah, that's bullshit. You got when it happens, it happens. Now you're head first in it, but you knew it was coming. You could have dodged it. No, something in you said, nah, let me go towards the light. All right, now you're in the light. There was something about it that
Speaking
Sounds
of
like-
that, did I tell you I'm having another kid?
No,
Are you really?
Another kid in June.
Yeah.
Baby
Are
on
you
the way.
serious?
Another baby, son. That's it.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
I didn't know that it works,
I
nigga.
finally figured out how to do it. I didn't know for all these years.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I sent Richie an instruction booklet. Like,
Yeah.
I was in the wrong hole the whole time. I had no idea.
Shit. Yeah.
he ended up with a washing machine. He was like, his lady's in one room, he's by the washing machine. Yo, I had this little booklet. You go over the pages and see what you do. Old school.
Oh, wow.
Great. That's great.
You know what?
And,
We've been talking this whole time, and we still didn't talk about 2023.
yeah,
We're supposed to
Yeah, I know.
wrap up.
fuck 2023. That shit passed already. Yo, but of course, we just talked about 23. This is more important. 2024. So when are we looking? How long?
June.
Like June.
June.
Now let me ask you: Are you find out what the baby is, or keep it a surprise?
Well, when the baby's old enough, we'll let them tell me what they want to be identified as.
So I mean,
Fair enough.
a
A refrigerator.
Before I tell you, I'm giving you a disclaimer. I don't know officially. Oh, look, he froze. Look,
I froze in time. Look at that.
he got
Perfect
punished.
He
He got punished.
Yeah.
Where are you? He's like, I'm out of here.
I'm playing it safe.
And Busky, you have a birthday. There's a birthday girl in the house, right?
Today, actually, yeah. My littlest one. Yup. Shout
Oh.
out to Abby girl. She turned 7 today.
7. Oh, there you go. Richie's back. Oh, so you got
He's back.
7. She seems old already, too. Bad.
Yeah,
Big-
that's what she said. She's like, I'm a teenager now. I'm like,
Oh,
nah,
shit.
you gotta
Wow.
chill. Yeah.
You're like, yo, you got 100 more years still.
Yeah. So
Oh.
Richie's catching up though. We're seniors in that game. I love it. I ran into Richie over the summer. I was up in his area doing a little little backpacking.
What a town,
and-
right? You like the town I'm from? That's nice, right?
We've been there numerous times. You know that.
I took him
And
to
I
the
ran
restaurant.
into him in the streets of Stroudsburg, and it was great seeing him with his little girl chilling. And I was like, man, I remember those days when life was easy and you'd roll up all happy with your child. And here I am with my 13-year-old and my 6-year-old at the time, and I'm pretty sure I was in a bad mood. I don't know if I let it show to you, but
They were running you a little bit. They were running.
they
you.
were running me, dude. They were running me, and I'm like, this is what this guy's got to look forward to. He's living his
I don't
high life.
tolerate that. I don't tolerate that.
You will.
Oh, yeah. We're
You will.
by the ear, I can see Richie lay
I
like,
throw
watch.
him a beating. I throw him a beating.
Well, my boys, I wake up cursing them out. I'm already like, you motherfucker. I wake up in a bad mood with them. They get it. You know, boy, you're a little bit more like give in. Sometimes he's like, what did I do? I'm like,
Yeah.
I
You're
don't
more
know.
comfortable with hitting the boy.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just like hitting. No, I won't get into you, right? Because now I won't pull your card because I know you will not touch that beautiful baby ever. But
She gets
before-
fresh. She catches
before
a
he
fresh
had it, you had to hear him once, Busky. He was like, I'm an elbow drop my kid from the top rope if they act up. I was like,
Yeah.
yo,
Listen, I never said that,
Super
but
Dad, hold on. I'm gonna talk for my boy Joe. Super Dad, who he would shoot down all the time, was like, he get really hurt and offended. You know, you can't hurt Joe's heart. That's like goodness. And Joe and I'm there listening. I'm like, oh, Richie don't know that. Wait. And then when I heard he had a girl, I go,
Yeah,
Nah.
boy.
people's
Just
church.
wait, Richie.
boy, you
just
consider
wait.
yourself a Christian.
Listen, I consider
Spare the
myself.
rod, spoil the child is what the good book says. Who am I to go against the good book?
Thank you. Finally, the book you're studying. Listen,
Spare the rod, spoil the child. That means you gotta throw them a beating when they
Like-
get nasty.
Listen, I used to tell, verbally, I do it. I never do it, but verbally, I tell them, oh, if you was somewhere else, I would beat the shit out of it. But I never do.
Not a smack
Before
on
I
the
had my son, listen, before I had my son, I was like, this nigga's growing up in Corona. I don't care. He's going to learn the real shit. When I had it in my hand, I got to take this beautiful thing out of this household. You crazy? Why would the one perfect thing I've ever did in my life, I'm going to run through the shit? Like, why would I do that? That's so insane. Like, I learned that really quick. My tune changed. I moved to Florida. I'm like, out of
a
there.
smack on the coolies even out of.
No,
Listen,
you'll never do it. Trust me, you'll never
you know
do
what?
it.
I'll tell you this. And I tell everybody online since we're gonna get into that. I'm gonna tell everybody a little parenting that I learned. And you don't gotta do that.
Nope.
You know when you hit your kid is when you're frustrated. It's because you can't handle the situation. I caught myself spanking my son when he was like 5 years old, for knocking down a pottery plant. He's fucking 5 years old. What the fuck a 5-year-old is supposed to do? Now, while I'm trying to go on the phone, I'm trying to do something else. He's doing this. I'm saying stop. He's laughing. He does it again. I get pissed off because of the 4 or 5-year-old doesn't understand me.
Yeah.
What I'm doing. And now I hit him because I can't handle the situation. And now I'm hitting the most perfect thing beautiful thing I've ever did in my life. And I'm hitting it because I couldn't handle my situation. And I said, I did it. I hit, and he started crying, not so much from the hate, but I was yelling. I said, stop.
Yeah.
That day, he was probably, I think, 4 or 5. My son is 15. I swore I'd never touch him again, and I never did, and I never had to. I learned, we don't need to do that. If you do, look, there's some wild child, whatever. Even then, you give them till they're grown up enough to catch a beating.
Yeah. You don't
Let
lay
me
your
ask you
hands on
something,
a child, man.
Did he ever tip over a lamp again after that?
Listen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
He learned from it.
There's a checking. There's ways you check, but I learned I never had to do that. You know what? They respect it. You know what I also learned? My youngest son lives with his baby's mama. They play a different game there. She does a little bit more with that or whatever. He also, being young and angry, lifted his hands to her. My sons never lifted their hands to me. Not even that dude. You know why? Because he knows I never hit him. And if I would, it would be some neck that he flipped my lid. And they learned that because they learn. You know how they know why they could push your buttons? Because they pushed your buttons and they saw how you react. You know what I mean?
Did you ever get hit or no?
I got beat. Every time I got hit, I deserved it. But I felt I deserved it, but I never got the chance to get the other treatment. So I don't know if that would have worked or not. My parents love me. But maybe if they talked to me and checked me the other way, maybe that would have worked. I didn't have to get hit with a spoon or get hit with the fucking slippers. Huh?
Would you hold that against them at all or not?
Did I? Back then I did. I'd be like, you fucking bitch to my mother, who I loved more than anything. Yeah. Hitting you made me do that to the person I love. Like, why would I want to do that to my son? I do everything to try to get my kids to look, to even pay attention to what I do. They don't give a fuck what I do. But you know what I mean? Like, why would I do something that I'm like, nah, I'm going to spoil? I want to be his hero. I don't want to be the dude he says. I don't want to be like that dude.
There's different ways to make them sting. You know what I mean? And that's the thing is when and for me, it was a sting, like my dad would get upset. He'd come down and fucking handle his business, and it was a sting. And then my mom would sting me verbally, my dad was physical, and my mom would just say things like being disappointed in certain words, which hurts a lot worse than just getting smacked and, smacked around and treated less than, because essentially all that did is teach me to do that to other people. And that's what I did my whole teenage years, is go around just fucking smacking the shit out of everybody, because
that's what you do.
That's what you do.
My son, he tried to do that to his mother, lift his hand, because she would do that to him.
Yeah.
I grabbed him on the football field, and you had to see how I had him. I had him after that. And attention, saying sorry to his mother, and you better dry that shit up with your uniform, and don't you ever lift your hand up to anybody, your mother, your father, ever again. And if I see them, I'll beat the shit out of you. Now I'm gonna beat the shit out of you.
There's different ways to make them sting.
But you can't blame them for that when you're doing that to them.
Yep.
They do what you do. You know what my sons used to tell me before I started? I used to tell them, you got to train. You got to train. Go, why you ain't training? Why you ain't training? When I used to say, oh, I used to. What's your excuse? Your excuse? when I got my shit together, you know what he tells me now? Pop, take me to the gym. Yo, I gotta go to the gym with you. He can't talk shit on me because also I was talking it but not walking it. They see what you do.
Yeah.
Example. You gotta lead by example.
They see what you do, and they're gonna do if they want to or not. We all do things our parents did, and then we also know, like, oh, I'm not gonna do that, but we know we're capable of because they did it to us. They made us. That's how you learn these things from them. And I said, yo,
monkey see, monkey do.
I learned it's true. You know, I give the okie dokie white people a little bit of credit on, talk to them first. I hear you. Talk to them first. Not, hey, do this. Like, let me tell you, that worked the most. Was not like, I'm mad. When I was like, yo, you know what? I ain't even mad. I'm disappointed. You did this to me. Out of all people, you. I tell myself the truth. I go, you're my best friend. You did this to me and you're my best friend. I'm not even, yo, dude. That would kill him more. It would. When they're mad, you get the reaction. All right, get mad at me because you know that they know the reaction time. They know in a couple hours I'm gonna go to daddy. I'm gonna say, you want water? And they know the little routine how they they get back in the thing. But when you say some shit like, yo, wow, I'm disappointed in me, that hits harder.
Yeah.
Believe me, there's times I want to do my style, and I learned, you know what? You don't have to, baby. There's time and place for that. But look at everything we learned as kids was bullshit. We're learning that now. Eating breakfast, how we ate breakfast, how we did this, how we did that. We learned all bullshit. We got to relearn everything. So,
now I learned I can't even hit my kids. Great. There's no fun in it.
I just for you. But good shit. Now, I'm glad. First of all, I'm glad we're alive another year to see our kids get older, to learn again, and to see what the fuck this year is going to bring. Because I got a feeling this year is going to be an even stronger year for music. Because right now thing is really wide open, and I think old bands are dropping music. I think new bands will be dropping music, and I think there's a lot of new energy around. Like you could already see, like, from the visuals to the sounds, everything is so cross-pollinated. I think it's somebody's gonna turn that shit this year another notch.
Any predictions? A standout album for 2024 release?
I'll tell you this right now.
Boy, any predictions?
Look out for the Turnstile. I haven't heard nothing, but just the energy they're coming with and where they're at in the spectrum of things.
Are they supposed to put out an album this year?
I heard they are. And the energy behind Angel Dust.
I just saw them live. Definitely. That's a good choice.
Right, energy. I seen them live. Great show. Shout out to them and that. But just the vibe around people feeling the band, and they're in their own lane, kind of. And still kind of fit in. I think it's something different than that. Like, again, it's like a throwback with new flavor with new look. So who you got before we got it? I want to hear who's this year's, who you think is going to pull something out.
I think there's a band called Life's Question that's going to put out an album that really takes it to the next level. They put out something previously that did well. People liked it. Was real cool. But I think this next effort. I think they might be from PA, Delaware. Maybe Philly.
Someone from Pain of Truth is in that band too, right?
I'm not sure, to tell you.
Man, I think that guy Ridge is in that band too.
Oh, okay.
Too, man. What a year they had! Shout out to them, man, for repping the East Coast.
Really good.
It's tough. It's tough for East Coast bands out there. Like, not all East. Baltimore got their foot deep in it. Everywhere else, they're fighting, and I was good to see, Pain of Truth up there representing and getting in, and Mind Force upstate, Northeast, keeping it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Keeping mixed contenders in there.
Yeah.
Busky, any new music? Who you predict this year? Who you think?
I want to hear a Zabalba full length after that EP that they just dropped. That shit was nasty.
Yeah, that was hard.
That Zabalba shit was really good. There was a dope band, Echo Chamber from Germany, that really
I don't know that one.
Really good, really good. They were great this year. Who else? Fucking demo wise, Collateral from South Florida. You might have seen them. Yeah. There's a record label that just popped up down there called Fortress Records that's put out 3 or 4 demos now. Every one of them is just fucking great. Just like 80s style New York hardcore shit, straight ahead, just fast 30-second songs, just awesome shit. So I don't know, tons of stuff, man. 2023 was amazing. So I think 24, yeah, it's gonna bring some pretty good
I'm
shit.
always impressed with Busky's knowledge. Always impressed.
Yeah, that's why, that's why we had to get him on here. I said, I need somebody who actually knows about this. And I just, who's that man with that weird kid?
It's Spotify, man. It's not me. It's all Spotify. It's all how you work
I gotta
the
start listening to
algorithm.
Spotify.
Old Decay. That's another good one you got to check out.
You know who's one of my favorite bands? Kubla Khan. This year became one of my favorite bands. I got to play with them. Man, like, I'm all about that groove shit. And I think that's all they're about. And that's how when I saw them, I was like, they're really on that tune down, that type of shit.
Yeah.
It's all flavor. I saw them, I said, yo, I fuck with that. And not only the band was tight, I think they stick out in the landscape of shit. You know what I mean? Like
they appeal to regular hardcore and metalcore. They have a big appeal in both.
Live, they murk it. Yeah. They sounded ridiculous.
Texas, right?
Well, yeah.
Texas,
man. Shout out to Texas.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Longhorns. The Longhorn State got something with music, something with thrash, something with metal. That whole Louisiana, Texas, that whole little thing there, something with the metal there.
Yeah.
You got, the Bay Area sound. You got this. Shout out, Brendan.
What up, Brandon?
Happy New Year to you too.
You too.
You got that whole band that Texas, Louisiana got his own style of ill metal. You know what I mean? They got their own vibe. It's like
Fugitive too. I look forward to hearing what Fugitive is going to do this year too.
Sure, they're murking. They're going to be killing it. And they just shout out to them. They did that little that one tribute show, that one trip show that was crazy, man. So there's a lot of shit coming out. And more importantly, the standout EP this year on Casa de Rock Records, everybody. That Smoke AD, listen, is dropping this spring. I'm not playing no games. Listen, put it like this. We signed a deal like 3 months ago. I just dropped the first single already. And we're dropping an EP already. In other words, life's too short to be playing games and wasting time. If we got something to give, we got to give it now while we got it and while people are willing to take it. Not this later shit or whatever, then, keep it moving. Everybody who's about it, now's the time more than ever. We got every platform. The music, we could almost do anything we want. So everybody, now's the time to put it out there or get the fuck out of the way. You know the deal. Shout out to everybody around the planet who've been tuning in. This year, we're about to do a lot of stuff. I'm dropping a new show, The Heavy Collective. We got a lot of new podcasts, and we're about to start dropping a lot more lives with the Hard Corner. And we're going to be doing a lot more traveling, a lot more spot dates, a lot of stuff coming up. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. Anything you want to let people know of Richie before we out of here? Again, one more time, any of the merch, your merch IDs or where they could get the merch or info for the record company? There you go. What you got? What you got? Show. Oh, boom. Let them know. Let them know what you got there before.
The prototype. Look.
Oh, you see it here, Papa. Look at that.
Very nice.
Man.
I'll get that color scheme.
Double X. Just saying. I'm just saying.
Very nice.
Got to be out 2024.
2024.
Maybe some music too.
Listen, that's what we want to see. Listen, get that. The Dixon. Shout out to Dixon for collabing. Shout out to Wisdom for still putting out music despite what this Richie's saying. They're gonna keep doing music. Busky, let people know what's what. Right now, there's none in the plans, but I know there's always something. You're publishing something. You're working on something. What's what to the next one?
Currently working on a cool little American hardcore fanzine book that will be coming out on the Tribal Publishing imprint, the music imprint, with Patrick Kitzel. So working on a cool little fanzine book compilation that will be coming out hopefully at some point in 2024. And I don't know, man, maybe some music. We'll see. Got to do something. Richie, I don't know. Let's talk.
Yeah, Richie, Z9. Yeah, Z9 right now. They just asked my man Korn hit us up. Anything new with the Z9?
Luke just mentioned that the other day. He wanted to record some stuff, but
let's do it.
It might be definitely that. I got another project called Corpse Division that I just throw stuff. When I record it, I throw it up on like YouTube or Spotify or whatever. So nothing like hardcore, almost like Devo meets Joy Division kind of vibe.
Oh yeah, nice.
Just stuff I record right here in the basement when I'm bored.
Pocono Richie.
Yeah.
Corpse Division definitely will have some new songs. Z9, maybe that's more of a project because I got to get the other guys in the mix. But you know, but honestly, you know, I don't know. But it's funny. Yeah, Luke just mentioned Z9. That's yeah, we might do something.
But yeah, good. You know, I was wondering what's up with that because I know you were hitting it hard for a minute and everything.
You know, I wanted to record, you know, and then I got out of my system like, all right, what do I do now? You know what I mean?
How would you do it?
It's like after you nut, you're like, all right, get this bitch out of here. Who's next?
Hungry.
See, you're spoiled, man. You're spoiled.
Yeah,
that's good. And right now, there's a bunch of stuff coming up. There's a bunch of shows coming up. We all know we'll be back next week. You know, everybody keep sending in your new music. Send it to the Smoking Word or Instagram. If you don't hear back from us, send it again. I get a lot of different people sending me stuff. I don't get around to all the music. We try to put as much music. It doesn't matter if you have a label or not. Send it to us. We try to get it on something local, anything, you know, anything you're trying to pass on. We try to fit it in when we can. We're going to start doing a little bit more lives, just random stuff going on, just to touch base and let people know in real time what's going on. Again, a lot of studio time, a lot of merch. Make sure you get the merch. Very important. Before we out of here one more time, next podcast, Richie, was anything lined up for the Post America?
Post America, I have nothing lined up, but I think we're doing something with that other podcast I do, Rule of Three, with OG and Joe Hardcore. We got some stuff coming up with that. But I definitely got to get Post America back into effect. But like I said, my gear over here has been whacked out. So I could do stuff like this with you or stuff like that because the other guy runs it. But when I do that to Post America, I need to upgrade my gear, fix some stuff, and then I could get back on track.
Hell yeah. All right, yo. I'm glad we made this happen. I wanted to get one out there, and I was let's see what other degenerates are home on Saturday night besides me. I was like, figures, I should have known better.
I'm only home because there's a snowstorm. Otherwise, I'd be out there
partying. Listen, shout out to everybody around the planet who's been supporting the movement. A lot of stuff. Support Wisdom, support Richie, support Busky, support the channel, support everybody in your neighborhood, support the system, fight the power. Goddamn.
Oh shit!
Fight the power. On the real, one love to everybody. Make sure you spread the word. We out here. The Smoking Word Podcast, the Hard Corner, the Heavy Collective. We out here, family business. This is out and live and direct. We love you, everybody. Stay tuned. We out of here.
Peace.
Peace.